So this video is about me helping my child Sienna release some emotions both from her life and from before she was born, and there's going to be another one later on in regards to trapped emotions from part of her existence that not all faiths really accept or embrace. So hopefully you'll learn quite a bit from this video. So first we're doing a control test, and in the control test Sienna's going to put her pendulum in the middle, and she's going to say, "My name is Sienna."
My name is Sienna.
You can see that it's going up and down as yes. Say, "My name is Mickey Mouse."
My name is Mickey Mouse.
You can see that it's actually going from left to right. Now Sienna's going to try and keep her hand as still as possible. Alright, because we want to make sure it's a proper control. Okay? Alright, so, and that's just to confirm. The first trapped emotion I'm going to release in this video is going to be shame and confusion. Alright, so that's saying yes. Alright. So first we're going to find out, does it require more than 3 meridian passes to release this? So it's saying it doesn't require more than 3 meridian passes to release this. Okay. So, in terms of releasing that shame and confusion from the age of 5, it's asking for meridian passes. What meridian passes are is essentially, there's meridians that go all the way down your skin. There's various channels here, and they go all across your body, and all those channels are mixed in with the tissue that connects the skin to the muscles, then the muscles to the various organs and systems. And so what we're doing is we're using that system and we're activating it because there's a field all around her body. That field is what's going to take the instruction from what I'm asking to release, and she's going to do that. She's going to say it from her heart, all right, as I say it from my voice. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do this. We're going to do these meridian passes, and we'll try our best with this hood here. Okay, but I'm using a pretty powerful magnet. Right now, this is, I just wrapped some bungee cable around a really strong rare earth magnet, and it's going to amplify the field in my hand. So as opposed to using a refrigerator magnet or rubbing my hands together, I use this because it's a little bit more intense, so I don't have to do as many passes. If you have a magnet and it amplifies the field, you don't have to do as much work. However, when we do a lot of work in one session, it's best to just use your hands because too much magnetic field is not good for the head area. All right, so we're going to now implement the release. Okay, we're going to learn more about the shame and confusion afterwards, because it's not just about releasing, it's also about providing empowerment and education so that the kids today can handle their challenges throughout the day and know how to deal with their emotions better, so that they can be more empathetic towards others and help them too. So let's release this now. Okay, so from the heart. Okay, put that down. From the heart. Okay. You don't have to say it from your voice. From the heart, I release the shame and confusion from the age of 5. I release the shame and confusion from the age of 5. I release the shame and confusion from the age of 5. And I'll do one more just for extra measure. I release the shame and confusion from the age of 5. So what we've done is we've triggered the subconscious mind, we've said it repeatedly, it is now taking it in as an instruction in order to release the shame and confusion from the age of 5. So now we're going to do a test, and I'll show you how that works out in terms of confirming that. The shame and confusion from the age of 5 being released now. So now it's going from up and down, and she's not moving her hand, it's just doing it on its own. Her actual bubble or her field is actually intentionally moving the pendulum. This is to confirm that that combination of emotions has now been released from the body. Okay, you can put it down now. Now, because there is a combination of emotions, we need to know a little bit more. We should know a little bit more about the emotions themselves. So if she remembers anything that happened at the age of 5 where she felt confused and ashamed, maybe because she did something wrong and she was confused as to why or how that was wrong, then we can always find out if she remembers. If she doesn't remember, what's important, most important to isolate, is what shame is trying to say and what confusion is trying to say. So the soul will transmit these emotions as a language to instruct the conscious mind on what to do or what's not the right thing to do, and to learn from it. So in terms of shame, which is the lowest vibrational signature, in terms of suppressing and holding on to, it's about restoring integrity, because if you've done something wrong, you probably don't feel very good about yourself, and so you think you might want to make amends for the mistake that you made. It's atonement. We're trying to fortify the field from the inside, because shame is an inside-out usual emotion in regards to mistakes that we make, and trying to develop more sense of self-respect, and trying to shift the behavioral patterns from one where it's primarily self-focused but more balanced, about what can I do that can change, so I can be more conscious of my actions before I take them, and thinking about them with more of a sacred and benevolent approach to responding to others that may have either hurt us or hurt our feelings, and maybe we responded back with some physical violence, things like that, or taking things that are not ours, things like that. So it's about asking the questions, and shame will ask the question is, who has been hurt, okay, and what must be made right. So when we ask ourselves these questions, we learn more about shame and how it's trying to make us, keep us in a straight and narrow, to be better humans, not just for ourselves, but for other people. Okay, so that's shame. Now, the part about confusion is that it's the mask for fear and anxiety. Okay, so it's like a diffused awareness, or it's an innocence, an obliviousness and malleability, in requiring like a taking a time out to reflect. And the questions we want that confusion begs us to ask is, what is my intention, and what action should be taken? Because when we establish an intention of what we want to do or what we need to do, then confusion starts to dissipate, and we start to have more of a focused sense of what we need to do, and where we need to go about doing it, and how we need to go about doing it. And if we don't really know quite yet, it's better to reflect and meditate on it, and allow the inspiration to come through from up above the crown chakra, and allowing that wisdom from the divine source to come through and give us inspiration, so that we can be inspired in the right direction. And then at that point we can start to discern what action should be taken, and find various ways to do it. And once we have a list of ways we can to accomplish that goal, then we can also use the same pendulums to choose which would provide the highest reward in outcome, to make that situation come through with clarity and triumph over that confusion. And then we can ask confusion to leave. So when we understand what's going on, then we can thank those emotions, because they're not bad emotions. They're just emotions that are triggered as a guidance system, so that we can lead better lives as human beings. And when we do that, we are being empathetic towards others, and as a benefit from that is that we reestablish more pride and clarity within ourselves as a result. We know more, we're mastering ourselves with more ease, because we want to know what these emotions are trying to explain. So that's why emotional intelligence is so critical right now, from the very early ages all the way up. And that's it. That's releasing shame and confusion for my daughter Sienna, and we're going to release some more after this video. And if you want to watch some more, I'll be doing some on other areas of the field where it doesn't involve personal life. It could involve some other things that may be questionable, or maybe against some belief systems. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope that you enjoy the additional ones to come. And take care and have a wonderful day. Okay, so I'll be doing some more releases from Sienna, and some of them are from before birth, meaning before she entered her mother's womb. And some of them were probably due to some unexpected changes or shifts or things that she had to adapt for, either before she was incarnate or before or during the process of channeling in. And one of them is a preconception trapped emotion of shock. Now, preconception trapped emotions aren't quite as strong as normal personal life trapped emotions, because we live in a life of duality, and it's a little more intense here than in the spiritual world. So, but the first one that comes up is the preconception trapped emotion of shock. And I'm going to test if it requires more than 3 meridian passes to release. Does it require more than 3 meridian passes to release with the magnet? Yes. More than 4? Yes. More than 10? No. More than 4? More than 6? More than 7? More than 8? So it goes weak at around 8. So we're gonna do about 10 or more on that, and we're gonna begin now. Okay, Sienna. So speak from your heart. Don't worry about that. Just repeat after me. I release the preconception trapped emotion of shock. I release the preconception trapped emotion of shock. All right. So is that now confirmed released? Yeah. I'll even try different fingers, and they're all having some resistance, which means it's testing strong. And how that works for me is that my field communicates with hers. So whatever her field says it's going, it'll tell me it's going. So it's not just we can test with the pendulum and her, but we can also test ourselves as practitioners in the emotion code. In terms of preconception trapped emotions, essentially every soul will, before it's incarnated, will go through a acclimation process and educational process, and speak with their guides and so on and so forth about what's to come in this life and what they're going to learn in this life, and how they're going to go through it and overcome their challenges, and they have all this guidance and support along the way. There are contracts that are being made so that they can fulfill them, and there'll be certain people in their life that they are going to interact with that can challenge them sometimes, but the challenge brings opportunity for growth and personal development, and it's important to understand that there's going to be apprehension before you become incarnate and formed, because there's going to be a lot of challenges, but it's a very short life compared to a spiritual life. So, spiritual, a physical form and human being is like a blink of an eye in a soul's existence, and it's infinite. So we have to put things into perspective here. Yes, we're going to go through challenges, but we can overcome them. We have everything that we need to overcome every challenge that we're going to be given, and we always have to understand that not all challenges are going to require logic to resolve. They're going to require leaps of faith. They're going to require trust in oneself. They're going to require gut feelings, instincts, intuition. We need to harness and cultivate those skills so that we can become better at navigating through life and find our flow again. So the next one we're going to release is a past life trapped emotion from 6 life cycles ago. And what I'm going to do is we're going to confirm this with the pendulum, because there are some folks that may not believe in the concept of reincarnation, and that's fine, to which everyone has their entitled to their beliefs, but we're going to test with the pendulum. I'm going to see how that works, okay? So I'm going to take the camera off the pedestal in a moment, so I'm going to put this on pause. So now we're going to do a pendulum test. And we're going to test, does Sienna have a past life trauma of resentment and guilt from 6 life cycles ago? There we go. So now we have some confirmation. Past life resentment and guilt from 6 life cycles ago. Okay. And her hand is not moving, just the pendulum. Alright, so now we're going to begin releasing it, and then we're going to confirm with the pendulum afterwards again. Alright, so speak from your heart. Okay, repeat what Dad says. Alright. I release the past life trapped emotions of resentment and guilt from 6 life cycles ago. I release the past life trapped emotions of resentment and guilt from 6 life cycles ago. So they're kind of like inherited trapped emotions, where you it's passed down. Instead of from lineage, it's passed down from a previous life, and as it continues on, it starts from there, but it carries on from one life to the next life. So it becomes difficult to overcome it but as each time you don't overcome it, you become stronger. And so when we request the release of this, it means that the individual can now be free of inclinations towards resentment and guilt regarding mistakes that they make, because it could have personal resentment against themselves and feel guilty about themselves. We don't want to feel like that naturally. We don't want to carry this burden continually. So we want to release this so it makes it easier to go through life. And if we make mistakes, we don't want to resent ourselves. We want to acknowledge the mistakes, but we want to say, well, I can do better next time. Just give me another opportunity and I'll make good on that. And that way we're not fostering guilt. And guilt, it's not a bad emotion. Guilt is just, again, it's like shame. But it's acknowledgement that you've done something wrong and you want to make amends for it. But you don't want to stay angry at yourself for making that mistake. In terms of the resentment, though, that's a choice to linger on and lament on things that you made a mistake on, or that others made a mistake against you, and yet maybe they're not making the changes they need to in their life and how they impact you. And so it's important that if they don't make the behavioral changes and you try to voice your truth, but yet nothing gets done, it might be the opportunity to move on and forgive them for being essentially ignorant, or deciding to be blind to the behaviors that don't work in the relationship. And if they don't want to change, then it's best to heal, empower yourself, move forward. So I hope that that was an educational and video for you, and also entertaining. And I thank my daughter for participating in this, because lately she's been going through a tough time, and we want to make sure that we can make it easier for her to move forward and to be stronger in her field, so that she can set her boundaries and become more integrous and acknowledge what she's not going to take, and how to voice her truth without being hurtful to others. So thanks very much for watching, and I look forward to providing you with more insightful videos in the future. Take care, guys. Alright, so now we're going to do a test to see if the resentment and the guilt from 6 life cycles ago is on the way out. So we'll ask Sienna, is the resentment and guilt from 6 life cycles ago leaving your field now? Your hands is still. Keep your hands still. There you go. So the resentment and guilt from 6 life cycles ago is leaving the field now? Wonderful. Alright. So when it comes to healing our kids, I can't say enough about this. This is very important. Kids need to understand emotional intelligence. They need to understand that emotions are not a weakness, they're a strength. They allow us to be more aware, self-aware, and aware of our surroundings, how to strengthen our field, and how to make sure that we remain strong from within, as well as impermeable to what's being sent our way. And when we heal these imbalances, and these are just emotions, the body code covers a lot more. Courting and sabotage and post-hypnotic suggestions and broadcast messages, and for teenagers, no will to live, for people are in college or even now having a difficult time in marriage, possibly will to die because your finances aren't in order, or you're in really deep water in certain parts of your life. All of these types of energy signatures can be released, but this video is strictly about kids, but don't make no mistake, even kids go through tremendous amount of trauma, and even though they can find a way to get through and overcome it, a lot of it gets repressed, a lot of it gets shoved into a dark corner in the psyche, and it makes it difficult for them to trust in others with more ease, because if you can't trust, then it's difficult to build relationships and friendships as you get older. And we really want to be open and honest and not worry about fear or fears overcoming us, anxieties, and leading us to believe that we shouldn't engage with the world because it's not worth engaging in. We can't live this way. It's not a life. We're here to engage with life. That includes both human, animal, but we want to make sure that we are as healthy energetically possible. Because when we're healthy energetically, we're going to be healthy physically and mentally. And this is going to bring great change to the world. So I love what I do. The challenge is not a lot of people know about emotion code or body code, and I hope this video helps you understand just how easy it is to release what's trapped inside and what's holding you back. So thanks very much for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope that you learned enough to understand that healing doesn't have to be arduous. There are times where we have to go into those areas that are uncomfortable, but there's great reward in it. So, and how souls can have a little bit of apprehension in regards to the impending life on Earth that have more to do with than just grief or fear. That there is a process in which we are, training for or getting prepared for life on Earth, and there's going to be some things that we need to take care of before we're infused into form, so we know what to do, what to expect in the life, what contracts to fulfill, and how we're going to take on certain challenging times of our life and how we're going to overcome them, and making sure that we try and stick to the disciplines and the graces that we can channel in regularly, and not allow the shadow parts of ourselves that essentially use fear and anger and sadness and other emotions similar to lead us when we're not mastering them correctly, to lead us down the path of self-demise and self-destruction.